Come on, let's go get him, baby. Not many more, men, not many more.
Some of these 7-foot giants weigh 23 stone, and even their bank balances are big. The star player of the Atlanta Falcons gets $900,000 a year, say £15,000 a week. Mick Luckhurst is their kicker, and here he goes, number 18. He used to turn out as fullback for the old Verulamium's rugby team and was going to Balls Park Teacher Training College when he emigrated. Now he's the envy of every American boy. American football's the biggest of big business, and the Falcons ruthlessly axe up to half their squad after each 16-week season. So a professional's life's about 3 years. Mick, who's 25, has been kicking for 4 years. So number 18 may, in football terms, be just that bit over the top. Now, Mick Luckhurst, that is you in there, isn't it?
Hidden behind all this, yes.
Why don't you take that off? I can get a better look at you. Do you think there are other young rugby players back in England who could come over here and do the sort of thing you've done, that they could be as good as you are?
It's difficult to say. Obviously, there must be. I don't think I'm not that exceptional. I've been given talents, but they have tried to do that. The Falcons have gone over to England and Europe and picked up players, brought them back. They weren't able to make it. The Dallas Cowboys went to Australia just 2 years ago and picked up a punter and a kicker who were just meant to be excellent. They were great amateur players of rugby and great kickers, but they didn't make the grade in American football. There are certain characteristics to kicking the football in American football that make it a little bit more difficult than playing rugby.
Now, you've got to be enormously confident, which it seems you are. You've got to be enormously determined, which you also are. You've got to be ruthless as well, as ruthless as they are.
No, definitely not. In fact, you have to be loving and caring, because if you're not...
Not in this game.
I'm serious.
Come on.
Now, in my position, that's why I've got one bar.
Yeah. They don't look very loving.
That's good.
No, I'm not sure about every player. Now, game day maybe is the difference. I don't think there should be. I think you can play hard and not be ruthless. It's a state of mind. You can hit someone as hard as you can to get the ball, or you can hit them as hard as you can to hurt them. It depends where your mind is at, whether it's ruthless or just good playing.
Fight them inside, man.
There's an old wives' tale that sex before a game is bad for you. Sex before practice is bad for you. It gives you weak legs. I've never found that. I think it's a wives' tale, but that's just the way it's been. We have rules where the wives, we go to training camp. We're in training camp for 6 weeks, and the wives are not allowed to come to our rooms, which is a hotel room. And we're allowed home once a week.
Black 75! Black 75! Come on!
Now, do you think these chaps could go over and play for Manchester and Liverpool and Arsenal, and once they got the hang of the game, do as well as they're doing here?
No. I think they're tremendous athletes, but they've been trained since the age of 5 to play football, to be football players.
Since the age of 5?
Oh, it's phenomenal. They've got things called Pee Wee League, and these are little kids, and the helmet is bigger than the kid playing the sport, and it's just truly amazing to see them at the game at that age, because the coach is still as ruthless, I think is the word there, because he'll be shouting at them, and you see these helmets drop with the head, and it seems like the helmets hit the ground, and so they've been trained to play football. They're football players. They're tremendous athletes. I was very surprised when I first saw them. You know, we've got these giants. I mean, there's no comparison to the size of people in England.
You're a sort of pygmy compared to some of these.
Yeah, and I'm 6'2", 14, 15 stone. So, and I'm petite, and so it is amazing. And they're great athletes. So they're timing. I mean, these huge men are running a 40-yard dash in 4.9 seconds, which is fast. It's as fast as I can run it, and I'm a fairly fast runner.
And carrying all this armour.
That's correct. I mean, so it really is. They're phenomenal athletes, but the agility that is involved in football compared to soccer is totally different.
What about the other problem today is drugs? I mean, do these guys take steroids to build up muscle and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I'm sure that steroids are very prominent in the NFL. On this team, I'm sure there are a few players. I'm not sure. It's not something that you announce to everybody. But to get that mass, some people do have artificial aids. I think some teams it's far more prevalent than the Falcons, but I think there's probably some here.
But I mean, some of these guys, their necks are broader than their heads, aren't they?
That's correct, and that's not just steroids though. Some players I know that don't take steroids that are that huge as well. I mean, they work out for 4 hours a day in a weight room during the off season, and it's dedication to their job, and they treat this very much as a job. It's not a sport, and it's well paid. But you'd better do that weight training. You'd better do that running. You'd better do the flexibility. You'd better do everything it takes for you to be best, because there's someone behind you that will take your job.
Is there someone behind you now, do you think?
Always. I wouldn't be surprised if management was on the phone right now, calling another kicker, trying to see how he's doing, how he's kicking, just in case something goes wrong with me. I miss 3 or 4 kicks. They'll bring someone else in. That's the reality.
Then it's going to be whatever happened to Mick Luckhurst.
I won't be remembered. I'll suddenly go from very hot to very cold.
Sports stars over here are as big as movie stars, are they not? I mean, you're getting asked for your autograph everywhere.
Yeah.
You're very high profile.
Yeah, it's definitely comparable. More in the area you play in, though, than nationally. You know, I can go other places in America and not be as noticeable, except if the name is used. If Mick Luckhurst's name comes out, people would maybe recognize it. But in Atlanta, yes, definitely. Or Georgia, I should say.
See, the thing is, you go back to England, go back to St Albans, despite Channel 4 and American football on Channel 4, which is viewed by about 300 people, despite that...
No, that's not true now.
You're sort of Mick Who back there, aren't you?
No, that's changed. In fact, Channel 4 has changed that.
Right.
Coming back here just last year, I was going through the station at Victoria, and people were saying, "Kick 'em straight, Mick." Channel 4 is really getting a following. In fact, for the Super Bowl, they had more people watching the Super Bowl than watch Match of the Day now. So football is becoming a big pastime.
You're going to be signing autographs in St Albans?
Oh, I have. I went to buy Christmas gifts, and I went into a toy shop, and this fellow got my autograph. I was laughing. I said, "This is great." I mean, it's far more meaningful in England than it is here to me.
Now, in the States, coming second means nothing, does it? You've got to be first. You've got to be a winner.
That's
If
right.
you're second, you're a loser.
You never play a good game and lose, even though it was a great game. I mean,
Can you adjust to that? Because in England, we tend to say, "Oh, bad luck," don't we? Hard luck.
very much so.
They tend not to say that here. They say, "Take the bum off," don't they?
That's exactly right. They're either cheering for me or booing me. In fact, I was going to change my name to Lou. So whenever the crowd started booing me, I thought they were just saying Lou. But I haven't done it yet. But no, they don't like that you're as good as your last kick, or you're as good as your last throw, you're as good as your last catch here. It doesn't matter whether you're in business or in sport either.
But you'd be pretty sick if you were suddenly going back to your old days of bumming around, thumbing lifts and living on $5 a day.
I don't think so. I enjoyed it. I had a great time then. I didn't feel like a loser then, and I wouldn't feel like a loser again. I'd know I'd be doing something that I would want to do. If I wanted to make a lot of money, I think I am in a position that I can do that. If I wanted to bum around and hitchhike, which I'd be doing with my wife, I would do it and enjoy it very much, and again, not feel like a bum.
So you've been in the States now for 8 years. Do you feel like an American?
No, definitely not. There are definite...
You still feel like a boy from St Albans, do you?
No, I'm an in-betweenie.
Yeah.
It's one of those strange things, because I go home to England and I'm a foreigner, and here I'm a foreigner, and no one really knows who I am, because here they think I'm Australian, or English, or New Zealander, or whatever, and in England they're not really sure what I am anymore.
Now, do they hold that against you? Does the crowd hold it against you that you're a limey as Mr. Kick, or do they have a soft spot for you?
I think they have a soft spot. I think Americans generally do have soft spots for the English, and it's very much a great advantage to be English and have an English accent. And sadly, mine is year by year falling.
Eroding.
Lapsing.
It's eroding.
But it is such an advantage to have that accent.
Well, you don't have a Georgia accent, I'll tell you that.
Thankfully.
What do you miss, incidentally, from England now? It seems to me you've got it all there. Do you miss anything?
There's not that time to relax in America that there is in England. People are still chasing that mighty dollar, and again, it doesn't matter whether you earn $200,000 or $2,000. You don't have enough.
So you're living the American dream, really, with your pretty young wife, all the money you can handle, a beautiful home. Is there a price to pay for this?
The biggest price is being away from my family that I've had to pay. We're a very close family. I love my family and I miss them. And that's the biggest price, definitely. I don't think there can be a bigger price than that, being away from the ones you love.
I get the impression that you like St Albans a bit more than your wife does.
Well, again, if we were in St Albans, she would be missing her family. She has a very close family, and they live in this area. But we also have the sun in Atlanta, and it doesn't quite get as cold in the winter as it does in England. And I think when we were last back there for January last year, it wasn't raining, but it was very, very cold, and so Terry got off on the wrong foot as far as England was concerned.
So you came for a year. What decided you to stay?
Opportunities that had arisen. I was enjoying myself. I was 18. It was a fun place to be. I was going to be going back to England. I'd be qualified as a teacher in 6 months. And America seemed a little bit more exciting.
Yes. I mean, just because the girls you were meeting, the money, the possibilities, really, the potential.
So many things happening. You know, it wasn't any one thing. It was so much. And the possibility of what could happen. I didn't know what it was going to be. I didn't know it was going to be professional football. But I could see the opportunities were here, and maybe for the taking. But you also have to be very competitive to keep your job. There's only 28 of us in the country, and there's 28,000 that would like to have the job, and they may be capable of doing it. So there's little things that really set you apart from everybody else. And I think being able to handle the situation with a pressure situation is one of those attributes that I have, and I think being English has helped.
You see, you really scorched through, actually, once you arrived here, didn't you? I mean, it didn't take you long to become one of the 28 out of 220 million.
That's right. It was 3 years, and again, I think that helped, because I didn't have the pressure of knowing just how great a feat it was until after it actually happened. So it wasn't a lifelong dream that I was fulfilling. It was something that was allowing me to stay in America. If
your basic salary is £85,000 a year, and then you can double that pretty nearly, well, that's pretty exciting too.
Yeah. You have a tremendous advantage as a young man, whether I kick for 10 more years or whether I kick just this year. Having kicked in the NFL for 4 or 5 years, I'm at a great advantage. I have a beautiful home, a beautiful wife, I have certain luxuries, I have money saved, and I could now stop playing in the NFL and go on maybe to teaching, which is something that I love to do. I'd have the luxuries that a lot of people that are in teaching couldn't do and couldn't afford, and I'd be doing something that I really love.
Now, what do you reckon, if you're prepared to tell me this, what do you reckon that you'll take home at the end of this year?
It really depends on how well the team does. It depends on how well I do, but it'll be in excess of $200,000 probably. So where it can go, you don't know. Obviously, if we're very successful and going to the Super Bowl, there's no end to where it would be.
So it's a minimum of 200,000.
Yeah.
Well, that's about £3,000 a week, I reckon, which is more than you'd get as a physical education instructor in Hertfordshire.
Yeah, nearly a year. Yeah, very much so. And it's enjoyable. I mean, that's one of the great things, one of the great blessings, is that not only is it paid very well, it's very enjoyable to do it. To be paid to stay in good physical condition and compete in something you love to do. What a great thing. And what a blessing as well that my wife plays on the LPGA, a professional golfer. And my off-season is her season. So not only do I get paid a good salary, I also have off 6 months, and those 6 months are the 6 months that my wife works. So the Lord has definitely dictated a very good life for both of us. But there again, I'm not naive enough to believe that right now I'm hot. When I'm cut, I'm very cold.
Cut means when you're fired.
That's it. You're history. You're down the road.
Yeah.
People in America, they don't like someone that's a loser. I mean, you're classified as a failure at a very young age.
In some ways, religion seems to play a stronger role here than at home. It's more evident.
Yeah. Georgia in the south is known as the Bible Belt. A lot of people, believe that that's how you come to be saved or be a Christian. You come to Atlanta and you fail at something, and by failing you then turn to your last resort and Jesus Christ, help me, I need you. And my testimony is a little different to that in that I had everything. I came here full of life, the spirit of living, had all the money that I ever dreamt I'd have.
And
had
more.
The cars, that's right, and more, the cars, the girls, the things that you think that you always want as a kid. And I definitely wasn't unhappy. I mean, if you looked at me, you wouldn't say, that guy's suffering. You know, I was very, very happy. But I also knew that some nights I'd go home and I'd say, well, I've got everything I ever thought I wanted, but I don't have everything. There's a void within me. And I've now found that the only way that void could be filled is by the Spirit of our Father, our Lord, and that's Jesus Christ coming into my life. And it's a very, very difficult thing to discuss with someone, because I know what my reaction would have been 4 years ago to someone telling me that. I would have said, sure, on your bike, you're out of here. And I wouldn't have had much time for them. But again, I think also the Lord knew how to get to me, and that was by not putting me in a desperate situation, because I would have fought and clawed and got myself out of there and succeeded. What he did, he allowed me to succeed in everything. Every dream I ever had, it was there, manifest, before my eyes.
Because American wives are said to be a little more bossy than English wives in general. Has that been your experience?
Mine is. No, that's unfair. She's not here.
Well, exactly.
No,
you can tell me the truth quickly before she comes back.
No, she's very understanding. She's a beautiful wife. She isn't a woman's liver. She believes in what the Bible says, and that is a wife should do as she's told, basically, in layman's terms.
You will go to St. Albans.
That's right, and she would do that, and she would be happy doing that. But it would be a struggle at first. My brother, in fact, came over from England to my wedding, and he met a girl from Duluth, just down the road here, and they were married straight afterwards. So these girls from the South can get us Englishmen. You better look out. The peaches from the South will get you, and they are sweet.